The theater of shadows, unveiling the simulation, the glitch in the matrix. The screen flickers. Static interrupts the signal. For a moment, you wonder if what you are seeing is real, or if the fabric of reality itself is tearing at the seams. We begin our journey today with a question that has haunted philosophers and scientists alike. Are we living in a simulation? Is the world around us concrete, or is it merely a complex code, a digital construct designed to keep us occupied while the true architects of our existence pull the levers from the shadows? We have returned to the airwaves, not just to discuss science, but to go beyond it, to step into the abyss where geopolitics, technology, and the occult intersect. The year has barely begun, yet the board is already set, the pieces are moving, and the sense of unease is palpable. It feels as though we are walking through a script written decades ago, playing out in real time. Take, for instance, the recent upheavals in South America. The official narrative tells us of political maneuvers, of seizures and extraditions. But look closer. Reports have emerged of invisible forces, silent, invisible weapons. Soldiers falling to their knees, vomiting blood. Their minds shattered by frequencies the human ear cannot detect. This is not science fiction. This is the evolution of the Havana Syndrome, a technology of microwave radiation and sonic warfare, capable of disabling a target without a single bullet fired. They call it non-lethal, but the brain damage is permanent. The trauma is absolute. It is the perfect weapon for an era of silent wars where the objective is not to kill, but to incapacitate and terrify. The rise of the technate. But who controls these weapons? Who decides the fate of nations? We are witnessing the death of the old world order. The democracy of the 20th century is fading, replaced by something colder, more efficient, and infinitely more controlling. We are entering the age of the technate. This concept isn't new. It dates back to the 1930s, a movement that sought to replace politicians with scientists and engineers, a technocracy. The idea was simple. The world is too complex for the common man to understand, so let the experts rule. Let the algorithm decide. Today, the descendants of that movement are the titans of Silicon Valley. We see a consolidation of power so vast it rivals the empires of old. A small group of men, a mafia born from the digital payments industry, now hold the keys to space exploration, global communication, and artificial intelligence. They speak of abundance. They tell us that soon, work will be optional, that AI will provide for all our needs. But in economics, value is derived from scarcity. If everything is free, if labor is obsolete, what becomes the currency? The answer is terrifyingly simple. Energy and compliance. A system of energy credits, creating a world where your very existence is a transaction, monitored and approved by the central brain of the technate. It is a communism of high technology, where you own nothing, and the algorithm is happy, the all-seeing eye. To build this new world, they need data, total, information, awareness. Decades ago, intelligence agencies dreamed of a system that could log every breath, every purchase, every conversation of every citizen. They called it LifeLog. But the public outcry was too great, and the project was officially shut down. Yet, coincidences in this world are rare. On the very day LifeLog died, a new platform was born. A social network that would convince billions of people to voluntarily upload their private lives, their faces, their networks of friends. We thought we were connecting. In reality, We were feeding the beast. Now companies named after the seeing stones of fantasy lore process this data for the military-industrial complex. They know your location, your health, your secrets. They can predict your behavior better than you can yourself. This is the dark marriage of the private sector and the deep state. When the government is forbidden by law to spy on you, they simply outsource it to a corporation, and the corporation has no constitution to uphold. This surveillance is not passive, it is active. It shapes reality. We see the rise of deep fakes, of artificial intelligence so advanced it can mimic the voice of a president or the face of a celebrity with terrifying accuracy. We are approaching the dead internet theory, a moment where the vast majority of online traffic is bots talking to bots, machines influencing machines, creating a hall of mirrors where the truth is lost forever. The island of secrets, but why? What is the ultimate goal? To understand the endgame, we must look at the darkest corners of the elite. The release of the sealed files surrounding a certain disgraced financier who died in a prison cell, or so we are told, has opened a Pandora's box. For years we were told it was just a scandal of debauchery, but the names in those files, physicists, tech moguls, royalty. Why would a brilliant physicist, a man confined to a wheelchair, be on an island notorious for the exploitation of the young? Why would the founders of the digital age spend time there? The theory is chilling. It was never just about pleasure. It was a honey trap, a massive intelligence operation, designed to gather blackmail material on the most powerful people on Earth. If you control the secrets of the kings, you rule the kingdom. But there is a darker layer. Whispers of eugenics, of genetic experiments, of a desire to seed the human race with superior DNA. These elites don't just want to rule the world. They want to redesign humanity itself. They seek immortality, transhumanism, the merging of man and machine. They see themselves as a separate species, shepherding the herd. The cosmic psyop. And what of the skies? For decades we have looked up, wondering if we are alone. We hear stories of crashes in the Brazilian countryside, of red-eyed creatures, of military blockades and strange smells of sulfur and ammonia. We hear of the men in black silencing witnesses, of doctors dying of mysterious infections after touching the unknown. But consider this. What if the phenomenon is real, but the narrative is manufactured? What if the crashes are retrievals of our own exotic technology? Or worse, what if they are psychological operations? There is a concept in intelligence called the limited hangout, where you reveal a part of the truth to hide a much larger, more dangerous lie. The government admits that UFOs are real. They show us grainy footage. They let whistleblowers speak to Congress. Why now? Why after 70 years of denial? Perhaps they are preparing the battle space. As the Cold War heats up again, as the superpowers race to militarize the moon and control the orbital lanes, the alien threat becomes a convenient narrative, a way to justify trillions in spending, to unite the world under a single banner, or to explain away technologies that defy the laws of physics. Technologies that have been locked away in black budget programs since the 1940s. Technologies like anti-gravity, which the mysterious financier was reportedly obsessed with. The prediction. We are living through a script. A famous author once wrote a book about an airborne toxic event, a train derailment that poisoned a town.
Decades later, in the exact town where the movie adaptation was filmed, a real train derailed, releasing the exact same toxins. Is this prophecy? Is it manifestation? Or is it a mockery? A sign that the reality we inhabit is malleable, scripted by forces we cannot comprehend. As we look to the rest of this year, the tension builds. The convergence of AI, biotechnology, and space warfare is upon us. The Optimum robots are being readied for Mars not just to explore, but to build a backup drive for civilization. The billionaires are building bunkers, not because they fear the end, but because they are planning the new beginning. They have created a religion of data, a theology of the algorithm.
They are building a god of silicon and code, and they are feeding it our history, our art, our souls. The question is no longer what is happening. The question is, can we wake up from the simulation before the reset button is pressed?
The shadows are moving, the theater is open, and we are all on stage. Welcome to the reality beyond science.